Welcome to this Angling Direct product spotlight, where we are taking a look at my new pole of choice, which is the Matrix XTR700. Now, I've used this in a fair few sessions now, so I think that I am now qualified to give you my own personal view of exactly why I picked this pole. And I'm going to start this video with a very, very bold statement. I believe this is the best pole I have ever fished with, and I'm going to hopefully explain in this video why that makes sense to me. Now, a lot of you might think, of course you went for the 700, it's top of the range, you're in the industry and stuff like that, but I will go out there and say I've put videos online for 15 years, I believe now, maybe a lot more, and I have never owned a top of the range pole, but I used this from a few friends that got it before me, and it was just like a wow moment, so I had to go and get this. That's why I went for the XTR, and it is absolutely amazing. Now, when you are looking at a pole, there's three things really. There's strength, there's rigidity, and there's the weight. And the best pole makes all of those three work together. You know, if you were to get a really, really light pole that wasn't very strong, what's the point in that? And then obviously vice versa, if you'd got a real strong pole that you can do whatever you want with, throw it at the band, but it was too heavy to fish with, it's not going to work. So I think this is the best balance of the three. And I have fished with all of my friends' top of the range poles and that, so I've used top of the range poles but not owned them, and like I said, this really does stand out. So first of all, the strength. I could not believe when I actually first got it, I just felt, this isn't actually a scientific fact or anything like that, but you get your number 3 section, which is the smallest one the top goes on, and just having a feel of it, it was like so strong. And in my first initial thought process, I was like, there is no way that that pole is going to be light and responsive, being that sort of strong in the walls of the pole. But as soon as you fish with it, like today we've been fishing purposely long, 16 meters, slapping a rig over, and it has been mega. We've caught some big carp. I've used it in strong winds as well and stuff like that. So yeah, my initial thought of like, wow, that's like the strongest pole I've ever felt. I couldn't believe how responsive and light it was at the same time. So when you come to buying a really nice pole, it's like fishing longer is where you see the benefits. You know, there's lots and lots of good poles at 13 meters, but when you start putting more carbon, that's where you lose the stiffness, you lose responsiveness. But yeah, this is an absolute joy to fish with. Like I said, even slapping it around, stuff like that, super, super stiff, and it's good. So it's not very heavy, it's super responsive, and it is strong. It's ticked those 3 boxes, and that's why I think it's the absolute best. But I'm going to have another little fish, and the other thing that's often overlooked, that it is well worth a mention, certainly when you're fishing at these longer distances. I can't actually believe we're in November when we're filming this, and it's actually catching shallow, but to be fair, here at Reefing there's a bit of an anomaly because there's a lot of fish in here. And the other thing I was going to point out is just how easy the pole glides through your hands. It's the best finish that I've ever felt. So certainly when you get to, I mean, look at how quick it just absolutely glides through. And even when it's wet, that is a big, big plus. The last thing you want is getting a pole and you're like sticking and stuff like that. So you see it just absolutely flies through. I don't actually know what the finish is. Like I said, this isn't going to be a technical video and telling you all the carbon and stuff like that. I know they have used graphene in it. Oh, got a fish that way. But yeah, this is going to be like my honest opinion, and whatever this finish is absolutely superb. It just glides through your hand, and it is just a joy to use. So I think what I'll do is, like I said, that's what I've experienced using it now. I'm going to get this fish in though. Then we'll perhaps get off the seat box and we'll talk you through some of the spares and some of the other little wicked things that come with this pole. So we're just taking a couple of minutes away from the fishing to talk you through the package you get, what it comes with, how I set it up, and a few things like that. So first of all, let's start off with the actual pole itself. Now, you should absolutely not buy a pole by the way it looks, but on the plus side, I think these look absolutely amazing. It's just aesthetically pleasing, and just for me, looked really good. Like I said, we all do it, don't we, as humans? You buy a car because you like the look of it, you paint your house because you like the colour, but yeah, you shouldn't buy it for that, but that's just an added plus, that it does look really good as well. But what you get with it, first of all, this is where you start to see this has had a real input from really high level anglers, because some of the stuff on here just makes sense. So first of all, you get one mini extension. And the reason why you only get one is because from the 13 metre to the 16 metre, all of the sections are parallel. So you lose one mini extension and it will go in all of them. So that means you haven't got to carry around 3 or 4 of these like you used to. A real clever design. And also, if you do want to fish 17, 18 metres, I'm not a big advocate of it, I don't really like fishing that long, but obviously these sections being parallel, you can pretty much take the pole to as long as you want if you grab yourself a few more sections. So it all comes in a nice hard case holder as well to keep it all nice and safe. And then let's have a look at the top kit packages. Now it comes with 16 top kits, so more than enough for most people's needs. And I set mine up with 4 different elastics, which I'll touch on in a moment. So the top kits you get is you get 4 longer match kits and you get 4 longer power kits. They are 2.4, maybe 2.5 meters. It's the sort of standard top kit length that you're probably used to using on many other poles. And in there, in the longer match kits, I use yellow slick elastic, and in the longer power kits, I use green slick elastic. And then you also get 4 short match kits and 4 short power kits. And what I use in those is the orange that I've been using today. I think it's the most universal elastic they do. And then in the short match kits, I use the red slick. So that's the elastics I use. And one other good thing, this is probably my favourite thing. It shouldn't be my favourite thing because it's so small. But again, it's just an angler input on the design of the pole, is I used to spend hours drawing depth kits on depth markers on all of my top kits, and when you've got a lot of kits, honestly it takes forever. So this is all done for you. They don't rub off. You can see on there that every single inch all the way up your top kits, and all of them are done for you. So when you are fishing, you're marrying your float up against how deep you're fishing, it's nice and easy to understand. And because you have got different length top kits, the cupping kit is actually extendable. So you get cups that come with it. The extendable cupping kit, which is literally just this plastic collar, and you extend it out to either the long kit, the medium kit, or they do a 1.7 metre kit, which I haven't actually got, which I'll probably use in the summer actually, for like F1 speed fishing. So there's 3 different lengths, but it's all marked on there nicely, 1.7 metres, 2 metres, and then if you go to the full extent, you've got the longer, just on that plastic locking collar. So a very, very good design. And obviously, as standard, the kits have a pre-bushed and a roller puller bung, so they're all ready to go. You literally whip your elastic in there, whichever ones you choose to use. Like I said, they're the 4 that I use, and you are ready to go fishing with a mega spares and top kit package. The fishing has gone mad. I've had the leaf matter sort of come in and cover the swim, and it's really improved the shallow fishing, but it's given me another great opportunity to really test this. But like I said, I have proper tested it so far. I've had some real big fish in other situations, like I said, windy conditions, but today fishing it long, 16 metres and shallow, it is just an absolute joy to use. And again, it's just, for me, cemented the reason why I picked it, and I've already said how strong it is, but just the balance and performance, it's hard for me to get across in a video how nice it is. And I think the best thing I could advise is, if you know someone who's got one, go and try it, because that's why I bought this pole. And trust me, for me to part with money, it must be pretty good. So the others are very good in the range, to 600, 500, 400, all the way down to 100. Like I said, the only reason I went for this is because I just picked it up and was blown away from it. But if your budget doesn't stretch to that, then definitely look at the other ones in the range, because they are really, really well worth it. And like I said, not everybody needs to fish 16 metres, and you don't need a huge kit package. So yeah, there's plenty in the range for everyone. But a couple of other things that I want to mention before we quickly sign off. Again, really thoughtful processes in the pole. you can see here, so from your number 3 section all the way up to your graphics, there's little markers. It says M1, M2, M3, so on, all the way up the pole. So they're not meters, they're actually marks. And so you can imagine quite often, as we are, when we're fishing other situation, not always fishing so long, you'd be sitting here halfway down a section, you have to put a bit of tape around it, where here now you can normally find yourself sitting next to one of the marks. So again, it's just a bit of ease and everything that's thought out. Obviously, if you do find yourself in between the marks, you have to go back to the old school and put the tape on, but it's an additional thing that I've not seen on the pole before. And while I've got this section apart, it's well worth a mention. I don't know the actual technical ability or thing behind this, but you can, on the actual joints, on the male and female, they've got like a wrap, a reinforced wrap on them. And what that does, it stops that joint wear. I'm sure you've all had it before, where you're either rotating your pole around all day and your sections come apart, or just over time, when you're going in and out, putting sections together through the years, your joints wear and they don't fit together nicely. With that, it's not going to happen. So again, it's just making sure that you're going to get longevity out of this, and making sure that it's going to perform as well on day one as it will 3 years down the line. So there you go, there's a sort of a look at this pole, what it has to offer, the kit packs that come with it, the elastics that I put in it and everything like that. If you do see me on the bank, please do come up and have a go with it, because the best way, like I said, to understand how good this is definitely to have a fish with it. It is, like I said at the start, it's the best pole that I've used, and I am super happy with my selection. So I'll put a link in the description. If you want to check the pole out, go ahead and do so. Go into the shops, have a play with it, and I'm sure you will be just as impressed as I've been.